Continuing with the yin-yang styling systems, let's talk about the dramatics. There are two types of yang. One is sharp yang, those are the dramatics, and then there is blunt yang, and those are naturals. Yang is defined, straight, elongated, sharp, blunt, hard, geometric, taut, slender, and sleek. That's just a way to describe lines, so it's not necessarily that yang is masculine and yin is feminine. They are just lines, they just are. If you're sharp, you're going to have very defined features. Most of them are going to be very angular and straight. If a sharp type was a geometric shape, then it would be a triangle because of its sharp and dynamic edges. If you haven't watched this other video on the introduction to yin-yang styling systems, then you should watch it now so that you can understand everything. The most important things that you need to remember from that video are frame, vertical line, and your lines. First we have frame. Frame is your bone structure. So that would be how wide or narrow your bones are. Your frame size is one of the main factors that will determine how much your body can handle in terms of visual weight. Then we have your vertical line, which is not necessarily how tall or short you are, but it's about your perceived height, so how tall you are in comparison to how tall you look. And finally, we have lines, which is what all of this is about. This is basically deconstructing your features and how they would look in simple lines and geometric shapes. And the type of lines that we have are soft, sharp, and blunt. As a disclaimer, I'm going to be using lots of pictures for these videos, and you need to know that that doesn't necessarily mean that that person is that type. It's just I'm talking about a certain feature that they have that serves as an example. So if you see them on my website as a different type, don't worry about it. Let's talk about dramatics. Dramatics are yang types with sharp lines. One of their main features is how tall they look because of their vertical line. This doesn't mean that they're always going to be super tall, but they are going to look tall. If you're confused about how lines and body structures and body shapes work, you can hire me as your personal stylist at cocostyling.com, and if you want to get a discount, then you can sign up for the Theory of Brown here and get a secret code on your email. Each one of us is a mix of different features. That is why there are subtypes for each family. For the dramatic family, I use 4 of them. I don't actually give them names because I think it's easier for me to work with just lines. But if it would make it easier for you, you can give me suggestions on the names. I might use them, I might not. So, just a heads up. First we have pure dramatics, and those are the people that embody everything that we have been talking about today. They are pure yang types with sharp and straight lines. Then we have soft dramatics, which are dramatics that also have lots of soft lines. If you're soft, you're going to be on the curvy and fleshy side. With that, I do not mean plus size, but I'm referring to your body flesh, and that might translate into having a fuller bum, a fuller bust, and wider hips. Until now, everything should be a little bit familiar if you have ever read about Kitchener, KIBBE, and yin-yang styling systems. But also, if you have seen my videos on why I don't necessarily love these systems, and it's because if you are short, you can be any of the types, but if you're tall, you can only be 3 of them. And that's why I tend to sort people into 2 more, at least when it comes to the dramatics. The first one is to address the there are no tall gamins type. So gamins are not going to be tall, but there are lots of tall people that have gaminish features. The thing about it is that they do have to take into account how tall they are, but then they should also address their gaminish features. Or not necessarily looking like a tall gamin, maybe it's someone that's not necessarily tall, but they still look like a mix between a dramatic and a gamin. So this would be that in-between type. Remember that gamins have a mix of yin and yang lines, giving them a very youthful look. True dramatics tend to have rather straight figures, but then soft dramatics have lush curves on top of that. A lot of ethnicities, especially women of African descent, tend to have very curvy structures. But the question that might arise for you is, I'm curvier than a pure dramatic, but I don't have the lush features of a soft dramatic. This is why I have this sort of in-between type. They have what I would call taut or slick curves, meaning that they do have a curvier bone structure. They don't have as many soft lines as a soft dramatic, but they do still have to accommodate their curves, something that a pure dramatic won't have to do. Let's make a pause and talk about today's sponsor, and they are Teddy Blake. So they make 100% authentic leather bags, and they're also made in Italy. When you open the box, you can see all of the info in here. So designer handbags, made in Italy, luxury leather. When you get leather products, you might want to keep them in a dust bag, a cover, or something like a case just to protect them. I got the Ava Coco bag in 11 inches, and I specifically chose this one because as much as I love mini bags, they don't really carry much, and I chose this one to be more of like an everyday bag, which is also why it's in a neutral color. I chose navy because it is one of my fashion neutrals as a clear spring, and it's also a bit different from just regular black. So you get your bag, you can open it like this, and it comes with this strap in case you want to use it like this. I like to hold my bags like this, and I think it looks cute like that. If you go to a website, you're going to see that they have so many different options. It could be something simple and practical like this one, or something a little bit more bold, something bigger, something smaller, an accent color, and that's something that I really like about them. They don't just have like the neutral colors, they have green, they have red, they have turquoise, teals, which isn't as common to find. So if you want an accent bag, you should definitely go there. So if you're looking for an affordable luxury bag that's 100% leather, no canvas, no plastic, you should check them out. Right now you can get up to 60% off of your bag depending on the one that you choose, and if you use my code TBCoco30, then you're going to get a $30 discount. There's also the special mention of the natural dramatic or the dramatic natural. I will include this one in both the dramatics video and the naturals video because I think this would be the true in-between type between these two. So if you identify as a dramatic, and more importantly, if you know the type of dramatic that you are, let's talk about how you should dress. You want to wear sharp, defined and tailored lines, but that doesn't mean that you have to wear suits 24/7. You should wear mostly clean lines that create geometric looks, very angular. If you are another variation of the type, then you need to take into account those other features as well. For example, soft dramatics will need to take their curves into account, but dramatics with more slick curves can do the same but not add as many lush details. Most items should be simple, and it's ideal if they are also on the slim fit side. They don't always have to be featured, but if it's too oversized, it can look off. It's better when they have big details, but not a lot of them. It's almost about having one big dramatic detail, and that's it. If you are plus size, then you're going to wear the same lines, but there are a few things that you need to take into account. You might want to use fabrics that are a bit softer, but not super airy because you still want structure. But you do want to wear items that are flattering and constructed. It's not easy for dramatics and naturals to get overpowered. That's why most models are those types. But they should avoid very airy and frilly and weightless things because they still need structure. You also want to avoid extreme drapes. It's not that draped items don't work, but if it's a lot of fabric, it can look like it's swallowing you. Here are a few ideas of stores that you might want to look at. Most of the items in these mood boards are from those stores. So, you being here, I have to ask you, are you a dramatic? And if you are not, Do you know what your body essence is or your body structure? I call them body structures because that's basically what it is. But yeah, let me know. If you are more into color analysis, I'm doing this whole series called Color of the Week. So you can go to my Instagram and find out the right shade of green for you. I'll be posting some swatches and also some outfit ideas because not everyone wears green. If you want to hire me as your personal stylist, you can do it at cocostyling.com. Bye!